Hi, my name's Kristen Anderson. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the branch manager at the Ashland Library. Wanted to talk to you about some of the books we've been posting on social media recently. But before I do that, I want to mention that we are in the middle of our annual Rogue Reads. This is our second annual one this year. Our community is reading Robin Wall Kimmerer's Breeding Sweetgrass, and we want you to read it too. For teens, we also have a teen selection, The Marrow Thieves. And for children, we have a middle grade novel, Indian No More, and a picture book, We Are Water Protectors. We encourage everyone to read and enjoy some of the programs that we've scheduled to go along with the thematic content of those books, including an author presentation by the author of Breeding Sweetgrass, which is going to happen in February. So go online and find out more information about those books and try and read one of them. As far as the books that we featured on social media this month, the first one was a book called The Prince of Mournful Thoughts and Other Stories by Carolyn Kim. As the title suggests, it is a collection of short stories. So I thought I would talk a little bit about other short story collections, but I also thought I'd use it as an opportunity to talk about a feature that NPR does every year called the Book Concierge. They've been doing it since 2013, so there's quite a few years of it now, and you can go in and play around with different tags like great books for a book club or historical fiction, and you can use those to explore a large list. I think it's like upwards of 350 books for 2021, all of the books published in 2021. And so I decided that when I was looking for books like The Prince of Mournful Thoughts and Other Stories, which was not published in 2021 and is not on the Book Concierge list, I would use the 2021 Book Concierge to help me come up with other books that you might like if you enjoyed that one. And what I came up with was Skinship by Yoon Choi, which is another book of short stories that also deals with living as a part of the Korean diaspora. That's one of those words I read before I heard pronounced, so I always have to stop and say it, diaspora. And so both of those books have similar thematic content and also should be worth checking out. If you liked one, you might like the other. Two other short story books I thought I'd mention. My Monticello, also featured on Book Concierge by Jocelyn Nicole Johnson, is a fantastic collection of short stories with a novella at the end. She's getting publicity for writing an awesome book, but B, publishing her first book of fiction as a person in her 50s, which is also fantastic. It's never too late to get started. I like that lesson. So My Monticello has a nice array of different short stories. The title one features a descendant of Sally Hemings, and if you know your history, that also means a descendant of Thomas Jefferson in a slightly futuristic setting where our world has fallen apart somewhat, and the place that she and the people who she is with end up sheltering is at Monticello. It's very interesting. And I would also recommend another book that is also a novella and short stories called The Office of Historical Corrections by Danielle Evans, another book of short stories that came out this year that's also fantastic and has some kind of slightly futuristic elements to it. Speaking of slightly futuristic, we also featured Persephone Station by Stina Licht, and that is a space opera with LGBTQIA plus themes. Lots of characters with different non-binary identity, trans identities, all over the spectrum of the alphabet. And it's a space opera. And it's one of those space operas that's about kind of the, I guess, the more Han Solo side of sci-fi. So we're thinking kind of the criminal underworld, but good guys kind of space opera. So I thought that other books that you might like if you enjoyed it was the Wayfarers series by Becky Chambers, which starts with The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which has a little bit of a feeling of Firefly, if you're familiar with that TV series. Also, All Systems Red, which is the first book in the Murderbot Diaries series. Murderbot is a security robot who has overridden his or their security protocols and is now able to act at will. But what he really wants to do, what they really want to do, is watch reality TV, basically. So it's kind of got a lot of sarcasm and snark, but also some of that space opera-y stuff going on. And also Leviathan Wakes by S.A. Corey, which is the first in a longer series. I guess the 9th book just came out this week and is on the New York Times bestseller list, which is what made me think of it. And it kind of has a detective-y element in a space opera. And so then that brings us to our combination of kind of futuristic, sci-fi-y, and short stories. We featured a book called Reality and Other Stories by John Lanchester. And Reality features several different stories that are retellings of kind of classic works. One, Reality is one of the stories, and it's a retelling of the play No Exit by Sartre. I always do that. And it's like reality TV No Exit. There's also in that book a retelling of The Turn of the Screw. They're kind of near futuristic, gothic, horror, tech kind of short stories. His work has also been compared to The Keep by Jennifer Egan. And his previous book, which is a novel, it's kind of a fable, is called The Wall. And that was on the Booker long or short list a few years ago. I don't remember whether it was shortlisted or not. And then we have Aviary by Deirdre McNamara, and that is a mystery set in a senior living apartment. So I was thinking about books that have characters who are in their senior years, and that took me straight to A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman, which is another one that you might enjoy if you liked Aviary. Aviary has a fantastic cover, which is honestly what made me pick it up to begin with. And also, just because I wanted to talk about it because I read it this month and it's amazing, even though there's a wait list for it, highly recommend Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. Aviary is set in Montana. Cloud Cuckoo Land is set in part in Boise, Idaho. Not in Boise, Idaho, in Idaho. And it has science fictional elements and historical elements, and it all comes together through kind of the power of one ancient story that is brought into each of the different plot lines. So it's really about kind of the power of stories in our lives. And I think that is a good place to end this, other than to just say once again, please read Braiding Sweetgrass, and see you next month.